I've been trying to get this interview for ages, and frankly, I'm a slacker, and I just haven't put it in writing. But the truth is, I knew I was going to see this wonderful woman here anyways, so I finally got the ability to get her on camera. Welcome to our production of On the Water Anarchy from Annapolis, Maryland. In this case, we've got Kristen Lane, former Sailor Chick of the Week, and frankly, what I'm coming to see as a rock star in the Melges 24 fleet. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you for having me.
Kristen, one of the main reasons I wanted to speak to you is that you've really raised our eyebrows amongst lots of other people in this fleet. Now, there are here 2 female skippers.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty, generally you're the only one, or there may be one other one, and over the last 10 years there have been at most a half a dozen female skippers in this fleet, which is an intimidating fleet, a boat that is very physical and very fast, and just intimidates lots of people, female and male. Now tell me how you came to the Melges 24 fleet, first of all.
I came to the Melges 24 fleet simply because I was working with a coach at the time that said, you should try something faster than what you're sailing now. You should try something smaller.
That was what, a
than what
105?
you're sailing now. Yeah, a 105. And at the time, I thought, oh, this will be a great opportunity for me to drive something small, learn how to trim a mainsail, do the whole thing. I had no idea it was going to be so much fun to sail downwind and go fast. It just completely got me addicted to fast sailing boats.
Okay, so that's how you came here. Now you were sailing 105s in San Francisco, correct, for the most part?
Mm-hmm.
And you came into this fleet how long ago exactly?
We bought our first boat, 539, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of funny. The day we purchased it, I tore my ACL skiing. And I ended up having to have surgery, so it was a few months before I started sailing it. But about a year or so after we had it, we went to the Worlds in Santa Cruz, which was a big undertaking.
Now, did you drive it, or did your husband Peter?
No, I drove it in Santa Cruz. And it was a great time. And it really taught me that it didn't matter what size I was. I could trim the main, and I could drive the boat downwind and be right there with the other competitions.
Now, where'd you finish in Santa Cruz?
I finished mid-fleet for the regatta. I want to say there were like 72 boats there.
67.
Okay, 67. I like to think 72. But the last race on the last day was our defining moment, and we finished 18th in that race.
And that was the windiest day, wasn't it?
It was the windiest day, and it was so much fun.
Okay, so since that time, you then got on my radar, because I started racing against you.
Oh, yeah.
And I raced with Simon for a long time.
Yep.
And you got on my radar because, you know, you got the other boat, right? And you put together a crew of excellent sailors, and you started to rip it up in the fleet. So there's my phone. But so I guess the next question is in the last 2 years since you raced at Santa Cruz, you have steadily marched up to the point that you are up there with guys like Dave Ullman, guys like Simon Strauss, guys who have been in this fleet forever, guys who are pro sailors, and you're up there with them, and not only up there with them, but you're passing them. So talk to me about that. How did you get to that point?
It's really been about time in the boat and getting coached. I mean, having the opportunity for people to tell me, look, Kristen, you need to work on this, that, and being open to receiving that. And a big part of it is taking on the challenge and wanting to take on the challenge of being better. And that has meant for me a lot of time, you know, messing up, making mistakes, you know.
Who's been the most influential coach?
I've worked with a lot of coaches. I would have to say, you know, it's kind of a toss-up, but over the last year or so, we've been working a lot with Mark Ivy. And he's done a lot to set my head in the right direction and get me focused on, okay, let's look at the Melges 24 as a training platform. Let's look at it a year ahead of time. What are going to be your goals? And that's really different because before I was just kind of sailing on the weekends and going out and having a good time. And still love doing that. But that type of focus, I think, laid the foundation and the groundwork to get better over the past year.
Let's just turn a little bit here.
Cool.
Now, Mark is a friend of mine and a guy who I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say his style is a mellow style. He's laid back. He's definitely a California boy, and he gets intense for sure. But he's more mellow. Do you think that works better with you in general? You think that will work better with women in general? That sort of style?
I don't know that it's about being low-key. I think that coaches like Mark and I have really the privilege of sailing with Charlie McKee at this event. Coaches like Mark and Charlie are very detailed-oriented. They're actually, I think, very composed and controlled, and you see that mellow exterior, but below that is a very detailed, pushing kind of professional and strive
Leave
for
no
perfection.
stone unturned.
Leave no stone unturned, and they're very competitive. And so I think that's one of the great things about the past year or so is I've just had the opportunity to sail around and amongst people that have that drive, and you need to have that drive to reveal those things about yourself that you need to work on. And so, yeah, I'd say he's actually a very driven and very detail-oriented, almost perfectionist.
So,
Yeah.
we see lots of women in the fleet. The Melges fleet is, because of the weight limit, because of the athleticism. The Melges has always drawn younger, fitter women, and definitely compared to a lot of other fleets, there are definitely more girls in the fleet. But it's very rare we see women helmsmen.
Yes.
So how do we change that?
This is really interesting. My team was actually talking about this today, and I think, really to driving anything, but I think initially the obstacle that women face driving a Melges is some women might be fearful to take on ownership of such a boat. They're, somewhat pricey. There's a lot of performance in the rig. You need to sail with people that know how to make the boat go fast and all of those kinds of things. So it's that initial intrepidation, that initial possibly fear that might keep some women who I know could absolutely handle the boat. I mean, if I can handle it at my size, I'm 5'5", and not particularly super strong physically.
It's my wife. We'll ignore that.
Right. So I think if I can handle it, I know for sure, especially some women that I've met just through the sailing that I've done, could handle the job of driving the boat. I think it's taking that initial step of boat ownership that would bring a lot more women into the driver's seat, so to speak. It can be applied to other boats too. If there are women that have been crewing, or they are ex-college sailors. You hear a lot about women not getting an opportunity to drive. Well, it's because men who own boats haven't allowed them to drive their boats.
Sure.
So I say go get your own boat and drive it. That's the bottom line.
And if you're going to get a boat, this is about the funnest boat you can get, right?
I got to tell you, this is a great boat for a person my size to drive. I mean, Dave Ullman and I are pretty much the same size. That's what I keep telling myself,
Now, answer me this. In the big breeze like we had on Wednesday, the main sheet takes some tension to work. You don't have a problem? Or you have one of your guys helping you with it?
No,
Or
I'm on the sheet by myself. During the pre-start and some of those maneuvers, just to save my energy, I'll have somebody taking care of that for me. Straight line up wind, depending on how strong the puffs are, I might have somebody assisting with the backstay while I play the Traveler, or if it's really nuking, I'm just playing the sheet and everything's just in a...
Doesn't seem to hurt you.
Hold it and go kind of a thing. But I have learned especially the last couple years, there's nothing that can't be worked around. Because I've been in situations, sometimes, people might be led to think, oh, you're just going to have a disadvantage when the breeze comes up. And it's just not true. So it's just a matter of finding the right people to sail with. I think more women would drive if they just own their own boats. I think you can pick up a used Melges 24 for a very reasonable price.
20 grand.
Yeah, and get out here and sail against, the opportunity to sail against Terry Hutchinson is...
To drive around him like you did the other day.
It was definitely the high point of my sailing career.
How has your reception been in the class as a woman? Any obstacles? Any bad attitudes? Talk to me.
No. I think that anytime, you come into a new situation, especially as a woman where you're maybe a little, unsure of how you're going to be received, tend to have your radar up looking for things, but maybe wanting to credit something towards something negative when it's really not there. The better I do in this class, the more feedback and positive feedback I get from my competitors. In fact, and people like Terry Hutchinson, who was really kind and said, good job today to be on the water. I'm going to remember that for a long time. And just everybody has been quite positive. Now, it's not the kind of thing where people take it easy on you. and they're not harder on you. I think the biggest compliment is that they're treating you just as they're treating another guy on the course.
And I think they are now for sure. If they weren't, then no one's giving you a free cross now. Now, that brings me to the next point, which is especially your husband.
Yes.
Now, we've seen in a few races this weekend and today where you were ahead and he caught you and ripped past you, where you were behind, like today, and you caught him, went past him. How does that go?
Peter is absolutely my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, if you want to say. He really makes all of this possible because of his commitment to the time. I mean, we wouldn't be improving over the last year the way that we have if we didn't have 2 boats. And 2, boats set up consistently. And always trying to gain that information based off of how, the changes he makes him go faster, etc., etc. Peter, we love each other, and we support each other, but we're also very competitive.
Obviously.
So it's kind of an interesting mix. It's much better for us to be on different boats right now racing against each other than working on the same boat, because we're 2 totally different people, and Peter will tell you that we process information completely differently. He's more cerebral and thoughtful about the way that he makes decisions, and I'm more kinesthetic. I do more things by feel, and that means we're 2 totally different people, and so it's great to have 2 teams that are set up to fit to that learning style, and that's pretty much what we've done.
Has he ever fouled you?
No, I don't think so.
You ever fouled him?
We did some match racing once at our place. Well, we did at our home in California before we went to Key West last time. We did a little practice session. We had a couple sessions that
It sounds like fun,
Yeah,
it really
it's great
does.
fun.
And
It
as the
really
guy
is a
who
good
races
time.
with my wife, I envy what you guys have quite a bit, frankly.
Thank you.
I think it would be really neat to race against my wife, although she'd probably kick my ass. Okay, so we've got 12 months before Worlds. You've got, at the moment, a team that includes Mark Struby, Mark Ivey, Charlie McKee, Brian Hutchinson, some of the best sailors in this fleet, and in the world, really. I mean, just some spectacular dudes and good people. What's your plan for the next 12 months?
Well, the plan is coming together, but essentially our plan is to select events that are going to prepare us for this venue, time them in a way that we feel we're best, prepared and rising the level up of our performance in time for the Worlds, and to have fun. I think we have 2 really good boats. I think our equipment is solid, and I think we've got the logistics figured out, and we're really happy with our sails. So it's really about, the team and just laying out the plan that fits best. I mean, we're looking right now at Charleston Race Week, and we're looking at Charleston Race Week, actually. We're looking also at the Annapolis Nude, and hoping that there may be some local Annapolis fleet people that maybe put some events together before the Worlds. That would be very interesting.
So that's a shout out to you, Annapolis Melges sailors. Get your ass in gear.
That's right.
Morgan.
Absolutely.
Neil.
We'd love to see something like that happen. This is a great venue. The people here are very friendly, and it's a really challenging place to sail. So having the opportunity to get out here and practice
will it be the same team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the boys are happy. They get to sail with great people.
Oh, thanks.
And go to cool events. We'll love to see you in Charleston.
Yes.
Look, give me a final word to women sailors in general on getting on their own boat.
I would venture to say, and I know this just from my own experience, there are plenty of women crewing who have the skills and the experience, or even just the interest enough and the personality
Libby, can you keep it down for just a second? Sorry.
to drive their own boat. I did something really unique when I started driving a boat. I went to Coleus Sailing School.
Really?
Yes.
Down in where, Texas?
In Texas.
Yeah.
I went to Coleus Sailing School for a week, and what that did for me is create a completely fail-safe environment for 1 week in warm water with sunshine, where I could get in a laser radial and be taught the basics of helming a boat around a race course, and all of the framework was there. And I even went back twice.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way. Often women tend to approach, a challenge, and if there's an element of fear or the possibility that they may make themselves look funny or look dumb, they won't take the risk. And so finding a place like the Coleus Sailing School, where it was fail-safe, it was all about learning, and it was intense. It was the repetition of one day after a time for a week, and those movement patterns and those lessons really sunk in.
I think that's kosailing.com, but Google it. If you're interested.
Yeah, I think it's ko-sailing.com.
Okay.
And actually, John Coleus is now a Melges dealer.
And he's not only
and
that,
he's
but
at
he's
this
racing
regatta.
here and getting his ass kicked by you.
Change of subject. No, that was really great. The other thing that I would say to women who are interested in it is you just got to find the boat that's right for you and buy one. Get one. Get a hold of one. Get a group together of people. It doesn't have to be all women. In fact, I would go for a mixed crew. And, get maybe a coach and invest in a day or two of training. And you can totally do it. There's no reason that any other woman couldn't drive in this fleet. So I would love to see more women out there.
Well, I know that there are many, many women watching this, and I certainly hope that they take your advice, because we just love to have your energy on the course, and just a female vibe is a wonderful vibe. It's something we all need, and certainly these boats they shouldn't belong only to men. They're too fun.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, Kristen, thank you, and congratulations on your general rise in the fleet. We will certainly be watching you as a former Sailor Chick of the Week.
Thank you.
And just as a cool chick. We love you, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Cheers.